Are we filming? Yes, we are. So, this is a review of an English-made vintage binder. It's not a filofax. It is a Twinlock. This is I guess it's kind of plastic, although the person that sold this to me described it as leather, but it's not leather. It's very, very clearly plastic, but it's okay. You take these things with a pinch of salt, and I knew it was plastic just by the photographs, so I'm not going to give this person bad feedback. They, it is what it is, and I got it quite cheaply, but it's actually, the designation is Twinlock 306 SGD, and to be honest, I'm not familiar. I'm not a Twinlock expert, but I have covered the sort of origin of the Twinlock company in a previous video, and it goes way back. So it's another one of those companies that started in England and then started in the UK and then developed from there. So I bought this for a specific reason, and the observant of you can probably tell. It's this ring mechanism, which I have not come across before. You have a green and a red button, and I was intrigued by this, and I just guessed that one was to open and one was to close, and I thought, is that possible? Because the leverage is going to be quite difficult to open and shut, but it does seem to work. Now, bear in mind, this is a vintage item, and it's probably been stuck in a drawer for quite some time. So I've not stripped it down and lubricated it or anything like that. This is as it is, but let me just show you this. So you press the red button and it closes, and then you press the green button and then it opens. But in this particular case, you have to press really hard and then it opens and it closes, and then let's get all my pressure to open, and then it opens again. So not ideal, but from a point of view of adding to my collection, I absolutely love this binder. And I think what I might do, I might risk opening this up and giving it a bit of a lubrication, but the leverage, the mechanical leverage of opening six ring mechanisms just by downward pressure in one place, it's not it's not going to be for someone who I can see why this hasn't taken off. I've never ever seen another binder with this arrangement, this mechanical arrangement in a mechanism, and I suspect it's because the leverage required to open it is enormous. Just a matter of interest, I love to experiment with this, but if you do have a recalcitrant ring mechanism where maybe the mechanism is broken, this is something worth trying, because it may be that you've got this full of paper and it's very, very hard to get hold of the rings and open it. Very difficult. So what you can do is get a couple of treasury tags, and certainly with those mechanisms where there is a 19mm gap, as there is in here, or as near as damn it in the imperial equivalent, you can just open it like this and it works perfectly. So just a little tip for those that are interested in this sort of thing. The mechanism appears to be made in England. Let's see if I can get the light on there. There we go. Made in. Oh, the sun is shining through the window. It's definitely made in England. And the actual binder, it's a plastic binder, but that is also also made in England. They had a big factory down south near London, and there's plenty of history about the Twinlock factory. But all good things come to an end. So there we go, made in England. And it's kind of, I don't know whether it's vinyl or what, I don't know exactly what sort of plastic it is, but it is an interesting thing. And from a point of view of the flatability, it's pretty good. I would say it's 95% there. So not bad. It's a useful working tool. It has the ring spacings that you would find on a modern pocket filofax with the 19mm ring spacings, if you like. And it has these flaps. There's no gussets, but I suppose this would have been used for maybe stamps, that maybe train tickets, who knows. A few notes in here. There's no pen loop, there's no hasp, there's no retaining strap. But imagine this is in somebody's wallet or jacket. It's not wallet, jacket, pocket, or a bag. This is like a notebook, isn't it? And as a notebook, I mean, this is what fascinates me about these binders, is because if you are a fan of a moleskin pocket notebook, you could use something like this as a pocket notebook simply by filling it with paper, hand cut if you like, or purchased from somewhere like Filofax if you prefer, and you could literally use it as a refillable notebook, adding and removing pages as required, as is the advantage with ring binders compared to hard-bound notebooks. And for that situation, that purpose, this would be absolutely perfect. Especially if you could open the rings. Well, it came with some paper that I think is actually probably contemporary with the binder. Let's see if we can open it the easy way, albeit it's quite hard. These dashboards look as if they probably came with this. But look at this. It's kind of a card with some sort of fabric coating bonded onto it. But I love these. Look at these. You don't get this with a modern Filofax. What I'm referring to is these slots that make it easy to turn over. It just works. It just works. I've got to be careful here because the name of the original owner is actually on the inside of the dashboard for the front. So let me just fit these in, and I'll add some more. I don't know whether this paper, which probably dates from maybe the 60s or the 70s. I genuinely don't know. So if you're an expert out there in terms of the manufacturing history of Twinlock, let me know. Okay, so let's press the red button to close. There we go. But what I think I need to do is, let me just say something else. So this paper has the corners are cut like this, so that you can access the button, the opening and closing button. If you look at the ends, it's closed off. It is actually closed off. So it's an interesting thing. But if you did have your own paper in here, ideally, I guess you would have to just get a pair of scissors and trim off the corners, top and bottom, so that you could use this to its full to its full use. But I think what I would like to do is just test. I'm just going to attest and sacrifice one of these pages. So this paper might well be half a century old. So I'm just going to get. I'm going to do two things. I'm going to do a test of this is this ink is Pilot G2, and it's the 1mm nib. So okay, and then I will try my this is a Tom Studio Ren, which is one of my favourite pens. This is like a fibre tip, so almost like a felt tip but better quality. And then finally I will try a fountain pen, and this has Noodler's Heart of Darkness, which is described as a bulletproof ink. It's one where it will survive immersion simply because the ink chemically bonds to the paper. But there we go. So the moment of truth. Does this potentially 50-year-old ink cut the mustard? Let's have a look. Well, do you know what? This isn't amazing quality. I mean, it feels a bit rough. It feels a bit utilitarian. It's the sort of paper that you might find in, as to be used for inserts for this sort of thing. And this isn't a luxury notebook. It is, or was, when it was sold, this was a utilitarian notebook. Nothing fancy. But look at this. Is that... Don't know whether that's a bit of bleed through. Not sure, but look at this. The quality of this paper in terms of minimising show through and controlling bleed through. I'm going to try that again to see whether that's just a bit of an accidental mark. Let's try this again. So ink, and this isn't a fine nib, it's an architect's nib, so it's a good tester paper. So this is a Tom's Studio architect nib. Whoops, can't spell architect. Okay, so I've crossed this out there, and we will see whether that causes some bleed through. Well, look at that. I think that was just an anomaly. I don't know whether that might even have been on the paper from this side. But look, isn't that fantastic? Isn't that fantastic? So this is something that I haven't tested before. So I am discovering this at the same time as you are. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Very, very pleased with that. And I think that I'm going to, when I do these reviews, I am going to test the paper, because there might well be some pleasant surprises. But yeah, very, very interesting indeed. Very, very, very surprised at that, in a pleasant way. in a pleasant way. So and as you can see, these are, I love these slots in here. If I turn this over, it's perfect. I love these slots. So filofax, if you are watching this, then please, when you use dashboards, my suggestion to you is, instead of just punching a hole, why don't you punch some slots? Because this is just nicer than a modern day dashboard. Very, very useful. I don't know whether the curve has been a natural curve or whether it's just ended up like that, but a convex curve in this direction works very well, and it's a tried and trusted, this slot idea is a tried and trusted design that I know from experience in the workplace has been around, well, all my working life. And then this is curved as well. Let's try doing it the other way. Okay, let's turn it over. And you can hear that, can't you? Very nice. So this is the Twinlock, not that it makes much difference, the 306 SGD. I don't know what that means, but maybe if you do, let me know. Probably from the 70s or maybe earlier than that, who knows. With excellent flatability, with slightly stiff and unusual mechanism, but a very, very interesting binder. Thanks very much for watching. Until my next video, goodbye.